So what are the 6 signs of a healthy marriage? We're going to talk about that today. And the thing about these 6 signs is that they are research based by science of other psychologists, specifically Dr. John Gottman. And I'm going to pull a lot of stuff from that, as well as some other things from emotion focused therapist Dr. Sue Johnson as well, another psychologist. And I'm just excited for this video today. But if you've been enjoying my videos, my name is Frank de Gracia. I'm a couples counselor here in Hawaii, and I enjoy helping couples just have closer communication. And if you've been liking these videos, please like and subscribe. Many people have been asking questions and sending stuff like that, and so please subscribe so that way you know when my videos come out. I try to put these videos out every week to help add value and to support couples. So like and subscribe, and hope you find a lot of great stuff and tips and helpful hints on how to have stronger, healthier relationships. So let's get right into it. The first sign in having to show that there's a healthiness in a relationship is what Dr. John Gottman calls building love maps. Building love maps. Now, essentially, love maps, you think of it as a map. Back in the days, we didn't have GPS, right? We didn't have, you could pull up these certain apps on our iPhones and Androids and be guided here and there, and it navigates us through all these side streets and back roads or the fastest ways. We didn't have that. We had paper maps. I wish I had a paper map with me to show you that you had to identify where point B is and where you are right now. You had to see what street you were on. And the thing about the thing about maps is that if there were updates or if there were upgrades in the community, new streets that were placed in there, new side roads and new buildings that were placed inside there, you would have not known, obviously, because you have a printed version of a map. Maybe that was 5 years earlier, and 5 years later, you have this supermarket, you have this new roads, you have this new highway or whatnot. And what building love maps mean in a relationship is that we must learn how to have these conversations with our spouse, with our wife, with our girlfriend, and updating those things. Maybe it's new best friends that she now has that you weren't aware of. Maybe it's new interests that she now has that you weren't aware of. There are new books and new experiences that she's had that you were totally unaware of. And what building love maps is all about is asking these questions. What are things that you're interested in? What are some updated dreams and goals that you are now having? Interests? What things have been stressing you out lately? Who is your new best friend? And so these are conversations, even as small as it is. It's important for us to have these to know these small things between you and her, because it's a part of getting to know her. One of the signs of healthy relationships as it is building love maps. But what we're going to see here in these first 3 principles, building love maps, and the next 2 that I want to mention is establishing friendship. Really, the foundation of relationship is friendships, obviously. Remember, we're going back to your dating season of your relationship. It was all about getting to know her. It was all about her interests, getting to know her in every single way. And that's what relationships are all about. In marriages, it's all about knowing her and building that friendship with her. And the foundational piece is building love maps, getting to know her through and through. But I know her. We've been married for 10, 15 years. Well, I can guarantee there's some things that you probably need to get updated on as to the newest things that she's interested in. Maybe there's a relationship, that a best friend that she once had, now she no longer has because of time, or maybe they got into some kind of dramas between her and that other person. Now there's a new best friend. It's important for us to know that as the husband, as the boyfriend. It's important for us to know those things. So the first essential component of a healthy relationship and healthy marriage is having those love maps. The second level is sharing fondness and admiration. Sharing fondness and admiration. I like to call it like appreciating her. It's as simple as that, showing appreciation towards her. Isn't that important? I mean, if we don't pay attention to those small things and show appreciation and fondness towards those small things, then our wife will never know, does he appreciate me? Does he even care about these things that I do for him? Right? And so it's important for us to make these deposits, these fondness, appreciation, admiration kind of deposits into the emotional bank account. It's kind of like a bank account, an emotional bank account. It's having to give appreciation and fondness for these small things. And as you do that, you're increasing that emotional bank account. Now, there may be conflict that may happen and that may decrease, right? That may withdraw from that emotional bank account. However, it's not going to be a huge withdrawal. It's not going to be a huge uh, uh, hurt, however you want to call it. It's not going to really hurt the relationship. Why? Because there's been this consistency and appreciation and fondness and admiration. You see, fondness and admiration says this: what I love about you is fill in the blank, or what I appreciate about you is fill in the blank. And so it's important to share fondness and admiration as part of that foundational piece of building friendship. The third piece is turning towards instead of turning away, turning towards instead of turning away. And what this means in this sign of a healthy relationship and a healthy marriage is that every time your wife brings up a topic, shares about her day, tries to have a conversation with you, whenever she does that, turning towards means you interacting with that, you being available, you being responsive, you engaging with that. Dr. Sue Johnson really her whole therapy is the cornerstone of emotion focused therapy is simply having to turn towards those conversations. Dr. John Gottman calls it turning towards. Dr. Sue Johnson this is the bedrock of relationships, the ability for couples to stay in the mix. She calls it in the tango, being able to dance with each other in the midst of the conflict, in the midst of whatever's going on. Can the couple be available, responsive, and engaging in that relationship? Because that's the crux of the relationship. If we as men turn away and we don't engage, and if we do this tactic of walking away, shutting down, staying quiet, not saying anything, stonewalling her, and just being silent, that's going to cause emotional distance between the couple. But if a couple can stay and accept the bid that the wife is trying to have with her husband, if the husband can stay in it and listen and be attentive and responsive and engage instead of turning away, going quiet, escalating, but having this conversation, that is very powerful actually. But the thing is, if you look at your best friends, if you look at the relationship between you and your best friend, guys, when you guys get into some disagreement, it may go a little higher volume. There may be some words been shared, but you're able to remain in that friendship because there's an understanding there. There's an understanding. Maybe he has a different perspective on sports or politics or religion, and so do you. However, even in those differences, we're able to understand from each other and still maintain a friendship. In the same way, a marriage has to be the same thing like that. Even more, when your wife brings up something about the kids or some chores or some kind of logistic thing or something from work, can you stay in contact? Can you stay emotional contact with her and continue to hear her out? Continue to stay in conversation with her and listen and understand, summarizing what she's saying so that she realizes that you are hearing her out. You are trying to understand her perspective without you interrupting, without you interjecting, without you having to interrupt with your perspective and why you feel you're right and she's wrong. You see, turning towards instead of away is about staying in connection with her. And if we can be able to, number one, understand, build our love maps. Number two, share fondness and admiration and turn towards. If she reaches out her hand, do you grab her hand? If she engages in conversation, do you engage in reciprocate by listening and empathizing and establishing communication with her? Or do you turn away when she brings up something? You just don't pay attention. You don't respond. Turning away is not responding. See, what we don't want is to think that I can have all these bad moments with my wife and prepare an amazing weekend of massage, food, dinery, all these favorite things, buy her nice stuff, and it's gonna take care of all these things. It's the small things that matter. If there's anything you hear from Dr. John Gottman in regards to healthy marriages, it's all the small things that matter. And if we can focus on the small things that matter, it sets up the romantic weekend getaway is that much more amazing. However, if the romantic getaway is preceded by negative experiences of turning against or turning away, you're just wasting a lot of money on a weekend. That's all that is. And so what we're saying here is that by building love maps, right? We'll set the foundation, building love maps, sharing fondness and admiration, turning towards and not turning away or turning against. That establishes what he calls a positive connection, a positive sentiment. There's a positive sentiment, a positive perspective of each other because the foundation of it is healthy. Now, the fourth level, the fourth sign of a healthy relationship is the ability to manage conflict. Now, there's a whole workshop on this, on all these 6 signs that I do that can help couple. I do online versions of this as well as in-person kind of workshops, but I'm just giving a framework of what Dr. John Gottman talks about, the signs of a healthy marriage in this short video. However, managing conflict, it's easier said than done. There's a lot of tips and tricks, right? But the few things I want to mention here that are key is are you both able to influence each other? Are you able to compromise? When I say influence each other, is that are you able to see each other's perspective and repair? And even if you don't have a resolve where there's compromise, can you still repair the relationship? My wife likes pink and I like blue. How do we compromise that? Sometimes it's hard, it's difficult. I want to go here, she wants to go there. So what do? Maybe we can't compromise there, but can we still, here it is, can we still hold hand in hand even though we're not able to see eye to eye on some things? Can we still walk hand in hand in this relationship even though there's some things in our relationship that we're not able to see eye to eye? Can we still hold each other close and embrace each other and love each other even though there's things we're not seeing eye to eye on? Right? Maybe I want my son to do volleyball, and maybe she wants our son to do soccer. Maybe we can compromise that. I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there. Maybe there are compromising things that we can come together on, but maybe there's not. And can we discuss our problems and take turns listening? Here's the other component that I want to bring up in managing conflict is, can we take turns where I listen and she speaks? And then when she's done saying her perspective and I understand where she's coming from, can we switch roles where now I'm the speaker and she's the listener? Can we do that? And not interrupt and not interject and not butt in with perspective and why I feel I'm right and she's wrong, even though in the mix of her speaking. Can we do those things? Can we take turns in doing those things? And especially when it comes to those perpetual issues that always comes up. And then the other component is that, can I learn to calm myself down when I'm feeling escalated? Can I be able to call a timeout and say, hey, we need to take a timeout. We need to just pump the brakes here. We'll come back to this issue, but we need to just pump the brakes because we're kind of getting too excited here. Are we able to do these things in the conflict? Because that's important. That's very important. That's one of the healthy signs of a relationship, that they're able to repair even if they can't resolve. They're able to manage conflict, mitigate conflict, even if they're not able to come to a solution right now or a compromise right now. Can we still walk hand in hand even though we can't see eye to eye in this certain issue? The fifth sign of a healthy marriage is making life dreams come true. In making life dreams come true, are we able to find ways to support each other in their goals and their dreams? Understanding that this is her goal, this is my goal. And even though we have two different types, my wife is a teacher, I'm a marriage and family therapist, right? And can she able to support my goal? And can I support her goal when in her career as a teacher and my goal as a marriage and family therapist? Are we able to support each other in all these things? That's important. And that's when we're a relationship can get to that point, it's so beautiful because we're helping each other, supporting each other, and helping our dreams and our goals come true. And the final piece in all of this, as a sign of a healthy marriage, is creating shared meaning. Creating shared meaning. This speaks to the rituals, the traditions. This speaks to those things that you desire to have in your family. For example, do we celebrate Christmas at in-laws and then Thanksgiving at my parents? For example, do we go on a trip to the Philippines on this time of the year to visit our family there? Or do we just stay here in Hawaii? For example, do we celebrate Easter or do we not celebrate Easter? Whatever it is for you, right? It's how do we do this? Having all these rituals, these traditions, these ceremonies, all these things to create meaning in the family. You see, if and again, this all builds on each other because we can have the shared meaning and the life goals, but if we don't have the friendship and if we don't know how to manage conflict, all this nice stuff of goals and dreams and traditions and ceremonies and all holidays and whatnot, that is not going to make a lick of difference because we're not able to have a friendship and manage conflict. I hope you've been enjoying this video. If you have been, please, I would like to hear what of the levels here do you struggle with? And I'd like to share more about that. Which of these 6 levels, which of these 6 signs do you feel you struggle with? And I can throw videos and make more videos around that. But if you've been enjoying this, in fact, check out this next video. It's going to talk more about how we can strengthen your communication, your relationship in your marriage. And I'll see you there.